Neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor dark of night shall stay these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds. Those words are carved above the New York City General Post Office, built in 1914. Most Americans assume they describe an American ideal. They don't. They come from Herodotus, writing about riders who galloped across 1,600 miles of ancient Persia, an empire so efficiently engineered that the message could outrun anything else on the surface of the earth. But this empire began with a baby sentenced to die. The Greeks told a story about Cyrus's birth that mirrors the myth of Oedipus. Astyages, king of the Medes, the dominant power across the Near East for 125 years, dreamed that a vine grew from his daughter's body and swallowed the entire world. His advisors warned him her child would overthrow him. So Astyages ordered a trusted minister named Harpagus to take the infant into the wilderness and kill it. Harpagus could not bring himself to do it. He gave the child to a herdsman who raised him in the mountains. The boy survived. His name was Cyrus. This is myth, not biography, the same hero origin pattern found in Oedipus, Moses, and Romulus. But the historical Cyrus was remarkable enough. Through his mother, he carried Median royal blood. Through his father, the lineage of Achaemenids, the legendary founder of Persia's ruling dynasty, the Achaemenids. His first and perhaps greatest achievement was uniting the freshest Persian tribes under a shared vision of destiny and superiority. The man who survived his own death sentence was about to make the world's greatest empires face theirs. Cyrus moved fast. His first target was the Median Empire itself. Because his mother was Median royalty, he framed this not as conquest, but as unification, a merger of two peoples under one crown. The Median army largely defected, and overnight Cyrus controlled the largest territory in the Near East. Next, he marched northwest into Lydia, modern western Turkey, ruled by the fabulously wealthy King Croesus. Croesus had consulted the oracle at Delphi before attacking Persia and was told that if he crossed the border, he would destroy a great empire. He crossed. The empire he destroyed was his own. With Lydia fell the Greek city-states along the Aegean coast, a conquest that planted the seeds of wars yet to come. Then came the crown jewel, Babylon, the greatest city in the ancient world, protected by massive double walls, the Euphrates running directly through its center. Babylon's defenders taunted the Persians from the ramparts. They had stockpiled years of food. A direct assault was impossible. Cyrus solved it with engineering. Upstream, Queen Nitocris had built a vast reservoir to control flooding. Cyrus diverted the Euphrates into that reservoir. The river dropped. Persian soldiers marched along the dry riverbed under the walls into the heart of the city. According to the book of Daniel, that night Babylon's king Belshazzar was feasting when a disembodied hand wrote his doom on the palace wall. The handwriting on the wall. Many Babylonians welcomed Persian rule. Some declared their own god Marduk had chosen Cyrus. Cyrus had limits. After Babylon, he turned east, campaigning into Central Asia against the Massagetae, nomadic horse warriors of the steppe. Their queen Tomiris warned him not to cross into her territory. He crossed anyway. In the battle that followed, Cyrus fell. According to Herodotus, Tomiris found his body, plunged his severed head into a wineskin filled with blood, and said, "You wanted blood? Drink your fill." These mounted women warriors of the steppe may be the historical kernel behind the Greek legends of the Amazons. Cyrus's death posed the empire's ultimate question, whether this vast domain could hold together without its founder. The answer was not a new conqueror. It was a system. Cyrus's successors, Cambyses and then Darius the Great, answered that question with a governance structure unlike anything before. The empire was divided into provinces called satrapies, each governed by a satrap, a royal governor appointed by the king. These weren't random districts. Each satrapy often corresponded to an old kingdom. Egypt remained Egypt. Babylon remained Babylon. Existing capitals, existing customs. The satrap was almost always a Persian, often from the Achaemenid royal family. Each one commanded armies, collected taxes, and dispensed justice in the great king's name. The core tension was obvious. Every satrap controlled the kingdom's worth of power. Loyalty was a constant concern. But for subject peoples, the deal was clear. Pay your taxes and tribute. In return, the empire guarantees you will never again wake to a foreign army at your gates. A system is only as good as its connections. The Persians built the finest road network the world had ever seen. The royal road ran from Sardis in Western Asia Minor to Susa, the empire's administrative capital, 1,600 miles. These were not ordinary trade routes. They were limited access highways with document checks at regularly spaced way stations. Guards verified credentials. Ambassadors, military dispatches, and royal envoys traveled these roads. Ordinary caravans took other routes. The marvel was the relay system. Fresh riders waited at each station. A dispatch handed off rider to rider crossed the entire 1,600 miles in roughly 7 days. Normal travel took 90. Herodotus recorded 111 stations along the route and marveled at the speed. Nothing else on earth moved information that fast. Those riders carried more than dispatches. They carried a philosophy. Neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor dark of night shall stay these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds. That phrase captures the Persian achievement entire, a culture of relentlessness, simplicity, and duty. They treated the challenges of nature, deserts, mountains, rivers, storms, as mere obstacles, never limits. To their contemporaries, the Persians seem to have conquered not just land, but distance and the time itself. This was not an empire held together by terror, like the Assyrians. It was held together by infrastructure, administration, and a social contract. The Persians were not merely conquerors, they were engineers of civilization. And the least administrative DNA, satrapies, roads, relay communications, became the template for every empire that followed. Alexander conquered Persia in 330 BCE and didn't dismantle its systems. He adopted them. Rome did the same. 3 tracks of influence run from Cyrus to the modern world. First, roads and communication. The royal road gave way to Roman roads, which gave way to modern highway and postal systems. Second, provincial governance. Satrapies became the model for Roman provinces, which became the model for modern federal structures. Third, an imperial ethos of duty and relentlessness, the belief that nature is an obstacle, not a limit, that endures to this day. 2,500 years later, those words from Herodotus are still carved in stone above the New York General Post Office. A rider vanishes into the dark along the royal road. The same motto endures above a post office 2,500 years later. Cyrus built more than an empire. He built the blueprint.